Welcome back to the Boyz and Ball podcast. So here we are, boys, the Final Four. On a long college basketball journey.
I came prepped. I'm in the college shirt.
Did you? Oh, I see you came with the button down today. Looking
prepped.
rather dapper there.
We're in that navy blue.
You know
who we support?
FAU.
Wrong.
Oh, FAU?
It rhymes though. You said you're coming rocking that navy blue. Who do we support? FAU. It rhymes.
UConn Huskies. Ooh.
That doesn't rhyme though, JT.
Ow.
It doesn't
Dude, FAU hoo, bro.
But see, no. I would assume you like FAU because you're from Florida.
Yeah, but if you think about it, so like if you go by just the mascots.
He's not from Florida. He lives in Florida.
Yeah, but if you go by the mascots, and this is really how you should pick every game.
Okay.
You have an Aztec.
Dude, that's literally what I do.
You have an Aztec going to war with an owl. Okay. So unfortunately for FAU, this is not Australia.
Can you fact check this? I'm pretty sure Aztecs worship owls in their culture.
This is not Australia. The Australians are the only one that lose wars to animals. So the Aztecs win.
Okay.
And then you have a hurricane versus a husky. Okay. And if you remember back to when we were kids, and they taught us a story about the little pigs. And there was a wolf, and he would huff and he'd puff, and he'd blow their house down. So unfortunately for the Hurricanes, that wolf, that husky, just has a little bit too much lung power. They're going to blow that hurricane straight away.
All I'm saying is I feel like that hurricane is going to generate way more wind because we've seen what hurricane damage.
Yeah, but they didn't make a folklore tale about a hurricane. No, they made one about a wolf. The wolf is more powerful. The wolf wins. Then we get to a situation where the Aztecs versus the Huskies. This giant fucking wolf. Okay, so you got a man barely in any clothes with a little club versus a fucking husky. So then the husky wins. Husky wins that. Tears out the jugular of this Aztec warrior. UConn wins the natty.
Oh, no, man.
You're welcome. You've heard it here first, boys, on the Boyz and Ball podcast. This is how it goes down. Leave it in, Dan.
No, it's not. You're absolutely correct. You're incorrect.
The wild storytelling that we just went through.
All right, boys.
It's almost slander. Okay.
The first matchup, FAU versus San Diego State. So this matchup intrigues me because you got an FAU team that plays really well as a team. You know, they go 8 or 9 deep, but then you have a San Diego State team that played in a harder conference, played a better schedule. Their only losses are to really good teams, and they go 9 deep against Creighton. They played 9 dudes, 18 or more minutes. You don't see that in the tournament. They're all seniors. They're all veterans. So I'm gonna roll with San Diego State. I think the veteran presence here. It's harder to game plan for a team who you don't know who's gonna show up. Their leading scorer, Bradley, who's their guard. This dude has not played well in the tournament, but you don't know who's gonna show up. Who's going to score that 18 to 20 for him. And it's so hard to game plan for that because any one of those dudes on that team can be the dude that's going to beat you that day. Because they don't have one dude that's leading that team. You know, you look at like an Alabama team. Brandon Miller was the leading scorer on that team. Okay, you got a game plan around Brandon Miller. Against San Diego State, who do you game plan around? You have to game plan against their whole team. That makes it a little bit more difficult.
And you can't take it away an entire team through an entire game of basketball.
And if you do, you're gonna blow them out. That's
the only way it's gonna happen. It's either gonna be FAU is gonna come in there and blow them out in the first half, or B, it's just gonna be, it's just gonna be what it's gonna be.
I think it really just comes down to FAU's led by John L. Davis, really good guard out of Indiana, out of Gary, Indiana. He's a bucket, all right. But I just think the Aztecs have too many dudes. You can't get them in foul trouble because they have too big of a rotation. They're going to play their game. I think this is going to be a really close game, but I think San Diego State squeaks it out.
Yeah, no, definitely. And watching the game against Creighton, they drew up a game plan for that final buzzer, and the entire play broke down, didn't work. But it was like you said, you talk about those random dudes in that rotation that you don't think are going to make a play. He ends up what's his name? He hit the final free throw for San Diego State to move him past Creighton, and
I'll
their
be
final
honest,
get.
questionable call. I
It
don't know if
was
I would have called it
it was a
questionable.
it was a questionable call, but you can't deny that the kid came out, he made his plays, he did what he had to do, and I mean, was it probably a soft foul? Yeah, he had his hand on his hip, but other than that, he missed that first free throw. He wasn't having a good, he's only shooting 75%, but he still made the play, and that just I like to see that depth in San Diego, especially going into this game against FAU.
It's so hard. It's so hard to play against a team. We talked about throughout this. By the time you get to the Final Four, NBA playoffs, teams cut down their rotations. You're running 7 or 8 guys on a majority of teams. And normally that eighth guy is a guy that has to play 10 minutes just for rotation's sake, but is not super beneficial to your team when he's out there. San Diego State runs 9 dudes who all do their job. When that rotation player comes in, they don't fall off. You're playing against the same team. And that makes it so difficult because San Diego State can play at whatever pace you want to play at. Okay, you want to play an up-tempo game? Great. We got 9 dudes, we'll rotate. It's so tough. You don't see teams like this very often.
You
COVID
want
year,
to slow the game down? Great. We got 4 guys who can play out.
yeah, it's COVID year definitely helped this team. You got a couple 6-year seniors on this team that wouldn't be playing without that extra year from COVID, but you take advantage of those situations, and San Diego State's made the best of it. They're making a crazy run.
How long until COVID years are rotated out of college sports?
I mean, you're gonna have a couple more years of it
It'd be
just
all the
because,
it'd be the freshman class of the COVID year.
yeah.
So who's
So
the
I mean,
freshman class of that
it's
year?
not gonna be till like
Basketball,
2025,
football, stuff.
2025,
Yeah,
2026. So you still got a couple more
yeah.
years of it, just some of those freshmen getting those extra years. But they're taking advantage of it. I respect San Diego State. I think they squeak one out. And then the next matchup, the prime matchup of the night. And there's something I want to talk about first, boys. There's a fun story I saw coming out. Going into the Gonzaga game, UConn has 3 players fasting for Ramadan. So when they played Gonzaga, they had now the only one that plays significant minutes out of those 3 is Adama Sanogo, but that's their starting center. So this dude who did not eat since 4:30 in the morning going up to that Gonzaga game. And then for this game against Miami, with where that game lines up time-wise, he's not gonna have eaten since 4:30, and then he won't be able to eat until halftime. And you know what? He kind of had a game last game. They still dominated Gonzaga. I think this is just a fun little story. They said the training staff already has it set up. They're going to have some easily digestible food, some PB&Js and stuff like that. But I think this is a great story to add along with this UConn team. They're playing out of their mind right now. I don't think Miami matches up well. This is a great offensive team, but I think this is where the offense is not going to be able to carry you enough. You're going to need defense today, and I don't think they're going to have enough of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm also going to take UConn over Miami here. I mean, Miami, like you said, they can pour on buckets. They got a lot of guys who can score, and their offense can be pretty potent. But UConn's on a defensive slouch team by any means, so they'll come out there and they'll be able to man you up or zone you out of the game and get you, having to move around a whole lot, get you guys running around and get you tired to play their pace. So I feel like if UConn can just kind of take control of this game, and then it doesn't even have to be a big lead at halftime. I think UConn can walk away with this game probably by
Yeah.
at least 10.
I think the other thing that makes it difficult, you're playing against a Miami team that shoots the lights out of the gym. But
Yeah, very potent offense.
UConn can play a Syracuse style of defense, that 2-3. They've done it a lot throughout this year, and then they'll also man you up. So this Miami offense could possibly have a hard time getting clicking if UConn is switching up that defense on them, giving them different looks and really closing out, especially when they're in that 2-3, closing out on those shooters hard, making them shoot contested threes. This could be a game where UConn could once again win by 20. This UConn team is this good. And I will get back to it. Sorry, Dan, I don't want to cut you off, but I did cut you off. You go back to the Ken Pom stats. Well, I want to keep talking Ken Pom. UConn is the only team that fits the criteria to win a championship this year that's left. Give me UConn Huskies
for the Natty.
For the Natty, but we'll talk Natty in a couple of days. But that's I'm throwing it out there now. UConn Natty. Dan, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, you talked a little bit about UConn's defense, but I mean they're consistently coming in day out, putting up like the same amount of offensive production that this Miami offense is. Now, I mean they're scoring a couple less points, but like they're still throwing up, like 88 points. They have a bunch of games where they're also shooting the lights out of the gym. So they're not just this, really good defensive unit. They also JT mentioned the Ken Pom stats, and that's shown there. Where Miami has the offensive stat to do it, they just don't have the defensive stat. UConn has both, and they could shoot the lights out of the gym and strap up on the other side of the court.
And I think the bigger thing for UConn too is you look at these last couple games where they've won. It's all in the paint. They're not beating teams by shooting them out of the gym. They're scoring so many points in the paint on teams, and
winning the rebound battles.
And they've won the rebound battle. I think they're like +9 a game in the rebounding battle. Like they dominate the glass, they score inside, and when you're bullying teams inside like that, the guards have to start helping in, and that's when your shooters start getting going. And if Miami is not just having a crazy offensive game, this game could get out of hand quick.
Yeah.
Now, Dan.
What's up, boss?
We got 2 games here.
Danny boy.
Yeah.
Give me the bets. What do you got?
2 games, man.
What do you got for us?
What do I got for us? Okay.
Dan's bullshit bets.
Dan's bullshit's bet. So I plugged in the lines.
Or Dan's bullshit bets.
Well, see, here's the thing about Bailey's bets is Bailey just pulled them off the cuff. Mine's a little bit more scientific.
How is it?
Yeah. Allegedly, they're more scientific. But
we are not experts. We are idiots on the internet. Let's make this very clear.
Yeah, 100%. We are the most professional, unprofessional source you can make fun.
So the over/under for the FAU San Diego State game is 131.5, and the line that I have predicted is I had them predicted at 132.5. So in this case, I would take the over in this game, and they have a 3-3 play. So it is a little bit of a gamble. They're 50-50 on consistently hitting that over. And then for our UConn game, they have the over at 149 points, and I have my line at 150. So I have a 1.1 discrepancy. But both these teams have 4-2 play when it comes to hitting the over. So I definitely, if you're going to punch one of these two, I definitely punch the UConn Miami over. I think that's a much safer pick. And then, if you boys want to discuss the plus minuses, we have let me pull up the betting stats for these two.
Dan.
Dan does that. JT, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Big chilling. I'm happy. UConn's about to win a natty. It wasn't my initial pick, but you know what? It should have been.
All right.
Should have been. Should have rolled with the dog.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I'm an idiot. I admit it. I'm just one of those dummies on the internet.
Yeah. So anyway, boys.
Wait, JT, I'm getting a message. We're ready to go back to Google Dan.
Oh, breaking news. Google Dan's finally ready. Okay, we're back.
Breaking news, you guys are both getting edited out. Okay, moving on. So it's a plus minus of a 3 spread for the FAU San Diego State. What you boys got to think about that. I mean, I feel like this FAU team keeps games way too close, not the punch at +3.
I mean, San Diego State does as well. They're winning a bunch of
But
tight games all tournament. It's
well,
it's
well,
what they
that's
do.
well, that's what I was saying. They're winning a bunch of tight games, and as like especially you saw in that Creighton game, it got a lot really close. That's why I was going to say, if you punch the FAU +3 spread, I feel like that's a pretty good chance of hitting because of how close San Diego State keeps these games, and both of these teams, they
I
both
think it's
play,
probably a good bet.
yeah, rather than taking the -3, and then
Yeah, I expect this to be like a 1 or 2 point finish.
yeah, exactly, and then the other one is a +5, a +-5 for UConn versus Miami.
You definitely take the over on that.
Well,
100%.
no. I already talked about no. This is the spread, so it's plus or
Oh.
-5 points, and you pick one of the sides, Bruce. So
Come on, Bruce.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Now the stat I see is 5.5
5 and a
for
half.
5.5.
UConn.
Yeah,
5.5 for UConn. So
I don't.
I think up it. I think UConn wins this game by like 8 or 9.
So you take the minus
I-
on
I
the
would take
-5.
I would take the UConn side on that. The -5.5. Yeah.
So
I'd take that too.
So boys, you're hearing it. We're taking both favorites. We're taking San Diego State and UConn. But
Whoa! On the spread, I'm taking that.
But I'm just about to get there, JT. Calm yourself.
Come on.
But when it comes to the spread, we're taking the +3 for FAU, and we're taking the -5.5 for UConn, and we're taking the over on both games.
Boom. Let's
Boom,
go.
there it is.
Yeah.
There it is,
Thank you for
laying it out
checking
for
in
you.
to the Boyz and Ball podcast. This has been the Final Four. If you like the pod, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's go. Bow. My pussy is sopping wet. Clip it, leave it in.